Something was moving within this man's head. What the physicians discovered was extremely frightening. After eating undercooked pork, an MRI found almost 700 tapeworms residing inside a man's brain and chest, shocking Chinese doctors. The patient, 43-year-old Zhu Zhang PHA, began losing consciousness and having seizures shortly after consuming a hot pot containing raw pork. According to Fox News, a doctor discovered hundreds of tapeworms festering inside a 43-year-old man's brain and chest after he ate undercooked pork. The Chinese national had been complaining about seizures and loss of consciousness for a few weeks, but it took some time to realize that he had tapeworms in his body. Zhu Zhang FA had eaten undercooked pork a few weeks before. Following a brain scan, the physicians were able to pinpoint the cause of Zhu Zhang FA seizures and loss of consciousness. Tapeworms can be seen in the scan, and Zhang FA doctor noted that there's no telling what role they would play after eating. Depending on where the parasites reside, different patients react differently to the illness. In this case, he suffered convulsions and lost consciousness, while others with cysts in their lungs may cough a lot. Apparently, the parasite larvae entered his body through his digestive system before ascending to his brain via his bloodstream. Zhu Jianfei stated that after being diagnosed with cystic cirrhosis and neurodystrossis, he may have organ damage, so the patient was given antiparasitic medications to eliminate the tapeworms and larvae in his body and prevent future damage to his organs. He was responding to treatment and making progress. However, he warned that the infestation could have long-term consequences. According to a WHO report, it causes neurocystic cirrhosis, the most severe form of the disease and a leading cause of seizures globally. Humans become infected with T. solium through eating undercooked meat, particularly pork, or drinking water contaminated with tapeworm eggs, or through inadequate hygiene habits. So here are the CDC recommendations for cooking temperatures for various types of meat. When smoking, consumers can use a food thermometer to keep track of the temperature. Heat the temperature inside the smoker between 225 and 300 degrees to keep the meat safe while it cooks. 145 deg 3 minutes for whole cuts of beef, hog, lamb, and veal. Overall, if a human consumes undercooked pork that contains those larval cysts, the life cycle continues. The worm emerges from its cystic that continues to deteriorate and produces a nodule in the brain. Finally, the nodule transforms into a calcified granuloma, and seizures have been connected to the inflammatory responses associated with the most recent stage. He was taken to the hospital, given multiple doses of an anti-seizure medicine, incubated, and transported to the neurosciences intensive care unit. After he was stabilized and extubated, medics began treating him with 2 antiparasitic medications, an anti-inflammatory drug and anti-seizure medication. He was discharged from the hospital 5 days later with no neurological problems or seizures persisting. And because pigs contain or carry so many diseases or parasites that might damage humans, it is recommended that the meat be frozen and slashed or cooked until the internal temperature reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. It's common to believe that hog production is frequently done in massive complexes where they are lucky to see the light of day, are fed antibiotic-laced feed, and are kept alive and fairly well. It is also believed that up to 70% of these mass-produced pigs have pneumonia when slaughtered, and they also compete for food with humans and other animals. Sure, they eat mostly field corn, silage, or pig crumbles pelleted diet, but it's a start.